So, today we're digging into Xbow and their approach to AI-powered hacking.
So, can an AI team actually out-hack a human? Well, we're about to explore a pretty interesting AI-powered approach to penetration testing that tries to answer that very question.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The core problem they're really trying to tackle here is, a classic one in software development. It's that constant tug of war, right? Between the pressure to ship new features super fast and, of course, the absolute need to make sure those features are secure. And yeah, in that race to just ship, security often ends up being the bottleneck. I mean, think about it. Traditional penetration testing, it's all manual, it relies on human experts. It just can't possibly keep up with the speed of today's development cycles. So what's the proposed solution here? Well, the approach is a SaaS platform that uses these autonomous AI agents to do the penetration testing. The big idea is to run security in parallel with development, not just tack it on as some kind of gate at the very end. And this is where the model gets, well, really interesting. Instead of having just one human expert testing one thing after another, this platform unleashes hundreds of specialized AI agents, and they all work at the same time. Each agent is basically programmed to mimic a specific hacker technique. We're talking about hunting for things like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, insecure direct object references, the usual suspects. And what this does is it allows for a way broader and way faster assessment. Okay, but with hundreds of agents running around, how do you manage all that? Well, that's where an AI coordinator comes in. It's designed to manage all these agents, making sure the whole testing process is comprehensive and methodical. The goal here is to cover every single endpoint and attack vector, giving you a much more systematic approach than you typically get with manual testing.
All right, so how do these AI agents actually find the flaws? Well, the whole process is broken down into three pretty distinct phases.
Okay, so first up is the discovery phase. This is where the AI maps out the entire attack surface and just scans for any potential vulnerabilities. After that, we move into exploitation. Here, the agents go to work, iterating through a bunch of different strategies to actively try and exploit those weaknesses they found. And then finally, you've got the validation phase. This is where a working proof of concept gets generated to confirm that the vulnerability has a real tangible impact.
So, at the end of all this, what do you get? You get a compliance-ready pen testing report. But what's really crucial here is that it includes reproducible exploit scripts and actionable remediation guidance. This gives the development teams exactly what they need to go in, fix the vulnerabilities fast, and then, verify that the fix actually worked. So, from a practical standpoint, how does it work? It's a SaaS offering. The customer just provides a target URL, and if they want, they can also supply test credentials. That just allows for deeper, authenticated testing. Now, one of the biggest use cases for a service like this is, of course, generating that evidence you need for security and compliance audits. And as anyone in engineering knows, that can be a major, major pain point. So to give you a real-world example, one customer, a company called Bloompath AI, they noted that a testing process that would normally take them weeks was suddenly reduced to just a matter of days. And because of that, they could deploy fixes way faster and get their SOC 2 report submitted on a much, much tighter schedule.
Yeah, and that's the whole point, right? These reports are specifically designed to check the box for the pen testing requirements in key compliance frameworks. Things like SOC 2 and ISO 27001.
Okay, let's switch gears for a second and look under the hood at the operational backend. We're going to talk about where the service actually runs and the data governance frameworks that it has to address.
And why does this matter? Well, understanding the underlying infrastructure it's just crucial, especially when you're thinking about things like data residency and supply chain security. If you're a company in a regulated industry or you have really specific data handling policies, this is stuff you absolutely have to know.
So, if you look at their data processing addendum, it lists out several authorized subprocessors. You've got the big cloud providers you'd expect, like AWS and Google, and then you also have the AI model providers themselves, companies like Anthropic, OpenAI, and xAI. Geographically speaking, the service is hosted and operated primarily in the United States. And again, that's a really important detail for any organization that has to deal with strict data residency requirements. And to round things out on the legal side, the company's terms are designed to comply with a whole bunch of major data privacy frameworks. We're talking about GDPR over in the EU and UK, CCPA in California, and even the Swiss FADP.
It definitely signals that they're focused on data privacy and security for a pretty broad global customer base.